Christine Ahn is joining us now, Executive Director of the Korea Policy Institute and the co-founder of the National Campaign to End the Korean War. Good morning, Christine. How are you?
Hi, good. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Lots of news going on in North Korea these days.
I know.
I mean, didn't something just come out like today? Was there another story today? What happened today?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it is a little early for me right now. I'm
Hey,
in
American in
California.
prison. Kenneth Bay, maybe.
Yes.
He's a American in prison there in North Korea. He has moved to the hospital because he's lost 50 pounds recently.
Oh, this is the guy who was sentenced to like 15 years.
15 years in a labor camp.
Now, Christine, are you from Korea?
I was born in South Korea, and I immigrated here when I was 3.
Okay, but I'm guessing you have not been to North Korea, correct?
Oh, no, I've been to North Korea several times.
Aha, see, I knew you were. I was kidding. So now, what is it like in North Korea? We don't see, obviously, is it true that we only see what they want us to see? Is there more to this place?
Oh, I absolutely think that there's more to this place than this perception that we only see what they want us to see. Of course, I mean, think about when we get, foreign diplomats into this country. Do you say you've been to Washington, D.C. before? I mean, do you think we would take them to just Southeast Washington, D.C., where there was just crime and really poor people? I mean, they obviously want to show the best, and especially to Americans that come visit, because they feel threatened by the United States. They want to kind of show a certain perception about North Korea, that it's a strong country, that the people are doing well. But I mean, even despite their best efforts, it's very difficult to not see when there is an energy shortage, when you're in the airport and then all of a sudden the electricity goes out. So that the country is still
it happens. Come on, it happens all the time. You've never been walking through LaGuardia or Kennedy and the power just went out.
In the airport, of course. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm talking about at Kennedy Airport or in Dulles. You've never been walking through and all the power went out?
Happened to me, BWI.
No, I haven't.
Okay, me neither. Yeah, but let me ask you this question, and I'm sure you've read all the books too. What about, and it just recently came out, about the labor camps?
Right, about Kenneth Bay.
Was it Kenneth?
Yeah.
No, there's somebody else.
That's the guy.
That's the guy now. I'm talking about the guy who wrote the book that I read a while ago.
Escape from Camp 14?
Yeah, Escape from Camp 14, that book.
Right. His name is Shin Dong-hyuk or something.
Something like that.
The
You got
young
it.
North Korean defector.
Right. Okay, that's the guy. Now, what do you think of that story?
I think it's very sad.
Yeah.
I think it's very sad.
It is very sad, but I mean, you believe the story, right? I mean, these things are really going on there?
Well, I mean, it's very difficult to verify. And, I'm not just going by what my perception is of having visited North Korea. And
you didn't happen to go by any prison camps while you were there, or labor camps?
No, but I'm just going by what many human rights experts have said. And they say that it's very difficult to verify whether this is actually true. And I do have a colleague of mine who is a scholar on North Korea, and she has had a very difficult time kind of tracking down where the source of the estimated 250,000 North Korean prisoners, from essentially political prisoners are, and that has been very difficult to verify the source of that. Apparently, it is from a bus driver who apparently worked in transporting these so-called political prisoners. So I think it's very difficult to verify. What we do know is that the conditions are difficult in North Korea. We do know that North Korea has even said recently that because of the state of war being with the United States, that they must allocate a lot of their limited national resources to the defense of their country. And so I think that's what's really important for an American audience to hear, is that there is a war that is still going on that didn't end 60 years ago, but that this is the 60th anniversary of the armistice signing, which promised to finally resolve the Korean War with a peace agreement, and that never came to fruition, and that there still are 30,000 U.S. troops in South Korea, that we could, at any moment be back at a full-scale war with North Korea, and that I think Americans, many people who can barely afford to pay their bills, they would like to see a formal resolution of this war and bring back U.S. troops and put the money where it needs to be in this country.
I think I would agree. Most people would want that. But how about what's North Korea's take on this? I mean, obviously we have to have their support in order to do this too.
I know, and that's the problem, and that's why I appreciate you putting me on the air, is that what our mainstream media doesn't want to do is to actually present a fair and neutral side and an accurate side of what North Korea wants, which is, whether it's this current dictator, quote-unquote dictator, Kim Jong-un, or his father, Kim Jong-il, or the previous leader, Kim Il-sung, they have always wanted the same thing, which is they've wanted a peace treaty with the United States. They would like to normalize relations. They would like to end sanctions against their country. And why? Because
why won't so why won't we? What is going on there? You say that's what they want. Why is this so difficult to make happen?
Well, I mean, I have many suspicions. One is that I think that the United States would like to maintain its military presence on the Korean Peninsula, because what country is next to North Korea that is a growing apparent quote-unquote threat to the United States?
China.
The rising China.
China, of course, yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, I think for geopolitical reasons, the United States would like to have a foothold on the Korean Peninsula, and maintaining a constant military threat and tensions that, say that, tell the South Koreans that, they need the U.S. troops there because of this, looming threat of North Korea, is a reason. And, what's unfortunate is that, in the 2000s, from the late 1990s to the mid-2000s, South and North Korea went through this period, which is called the Sunshine Policy era. And, they had made a commitment to begin the reconciliation and gradual reunification process. And this is a country that's, 5,000 plus years old. And, they share the same language. They eat the same food. I mean, they share the same history. But because it was divided by foreign powers, largely by the United States, at the end of World War II, it is a divided country. And that means that millions of Korean families, not just in North and South Korea, but also Korean Americans in this country, are not able to see their families in North Korea. And so this unended war doesn't mean that, the military-industrial complex is the winner. It also means that there are lots of losers, which includes millions of families that are still divided today.
Well, no. I mean, this is certainly eye-opening stuff. And what are we going?
Thank you for having me on the air.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not afraid to put anybody on here. I mean, talk about. I didn't know this stuff. Do you know this stuff?
No, I had no idea.
No idea.
I didn't know stuff.
Hey, we're talking kimchi.
Kimchi.
I was all excited. I'm starving.
We could probably talk about that later.
Okay.
So, Christine, what's the next step? Tell me about your group, the National Campaign to End the Korean War. What are you guys doing, other than joining us here?
It's a national coalition of human rights groups, veterans, some from the Korean War era, multi-generational Korean Americans, multi-faith groups. We wanted to really build a grassroots base to put pressure on both the White House, members of Congress, and the media to tell the story about the unended war, and that there are immense costs of having this Korean War still live on, and that we need to formally end the Korean War with a peace treaty. We need to lift sanctions on North Korea because it impacts the day-to-day lives of the people. And we need to stop these war games. Actually, that should be in the news. In the month of August, there are these war games that happen annually between the United States and South Korea. It involves tens of thousands of troops, and who knows how much money it costs. But we are sending B-52 bombers over South Korea and North Korea into the Korean waters, And, this is really terrifying North Korea, and this is justifying their military buildup. And then Japan says, oh, my gosh, look at what's happening on the Korean Peninsula. We need a nuclear weapon. So do you understand that this is causing this massive arms race in Northeast Asia?
I do now. Christine, listen, we need to run on to another interview, but I certainly appreciate this, and we might call you back at a later date. We have more time, if that's fine. Okay,
we would love that. Thank you very much.
No, I'm really interested in this. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Christine. Bye.